Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to October Daily 2025. This is my second video in this album series, and I'm so excited to jump right into documenting the days of October. And so today I'm going to share days 1 through 3. And what you're seeing now is just an overview of what I'm doing. I'm also sharing a little bonus, the introduction page. What you're seeing here is the album itself, the little kind of phone charm that I created for it, the puffy number stickers that I added to the album spine for 2025. And then this is a little die set, a bat shaker die set from Pretty Pink Posh. And I showed this in my supply video. And so now I'm going to put this cute little bat together. What I did was I grabbed the black cardstock that I had purchased earlier with the orange on orange spider web on side B, and I punched or die cut the bat from that twice. I die cut the backing, so the orange is going to show on the back, and then the top layer, which is the actual shaker top layer, and then also a middle layer from black foam board. There's black foam adhesive or black foam tape strips that you can get as well. But this is what I had accessible to me. So that's the center layer that's going to be the thickness for the sequins. The sequins are from my stash that I've had now for quite a while. And then also, I die cut a transparency piece that's the full bat shape to hold the sequins in place. And so that's basically what I'm doing here. There's also a little face die for this bat. He's so adorable and so cute. And then the die set has little eyes and a mouth for him as well. And so just putting this all together, I have to say that I was really happy putting the foam board through my die cutter. I have the Evolution from We Are Memory Keepers. It is probably 8 or 9 years old now, but it ran through just fine. It smushed it down a little bit, but it was great and worked out really perfect for this little shaker pocket. And just a shout out to Pretty Pink Posh. I had never used their products before, and this definitely makes me want to go and purchase some other things too. They have a variety of shaker pockets that I found while looking for this one. So what I'm going to do with this cute little bat is he's going to be the opening character for the album. So I had also grabbed this beautiful sprinkly star transparency from Doodlebug from the Sweet and Spooky collection. And I usually like to open my albums with some kind of fun transparency, just notating the date, the year, the month, setting the tone right at the beginning for the album. And so this transparency reflects the physical product that I purchased for this album. It also coordinates perfectly with the grape album that I'm using from Citrus Twist. And this is also going to be a really cute little place for the bat to live on. And of course, putting the bat on the transparency means that that orange back will show on the back side. And so then with that, you really don't have to do anything on the back side if you don't want to. He can just live there by himself. And we'll see here what I go on to do with this page once he's glued down. And so here I'm just trying to make the decision about where he's going to go. He turned out so cute. I love him. So I think I'm going to just position him a little bit in the center there. And then I think I must have misplaced some video. I did add the 31 Days of October and 2025 using the silver alphabets from Paige Evans' Tricks and Treats collection, the little alphabet set. This is the calendar page and the introduction page that I already made. And so for day 1, we're going to use the back of the introduction page, and I already have half of the layout made for this day already with the moon pattern paper from the Midnight Apothecary collection. And then in Photoshop here, I created the facing page, the left-hand side of the page, using one of the teal pattern papers in the collection. This actually started with a December Daily template from Ali Edwards from like 2018, but what the template gave me was the photo on the left-hand side, and also the text box. There's a date, word, and a line above the text box on the right-hand side of this page. And so I created all that in Photoshop and then printed that out, and then also printed out a couple of embellishments to add to the page. And then I didn't really need to add the date onto this layout per se, because the facing page already has the number 1 on it. So I just added a little puffy sticker there. I just added the little boo puffy word from Fancy Pants Designs. And that gave it a little bit of dimension there. And so I'm just going to add that to the back of the introduction page. And that's how easy it was to complete day 1. Of course, I did punch my holes just a little bit off there. So I'm going to fix that. I also wanted to tell you guys, I tore apart my my planner punch there from We Are Memory Keepers. I was talking in a previous video about how frustrating it had been to me. And, okay, I didn't really take it apart, but I did get in the mechanism with some, a little bit of force there and cleared out like 10 years of hole punches, and that made a whole big giant difference in how it works. So just passing that along to you. Moving forward here to day 2. So for day 2, we went to Spirit Halloween. I was looking for something to wear for the Taylor Swift Life of a Showgirl launch party movie thing, and so we went off to Spirit Halloween and found some cute things. And I also discovered that Spirit Halloween has this really cool subway car set up in the middle of the store. And you can walk through it. It's got all these characters around it and inside of it. There's a fake, quote unquote, body hanging upside down in there. It's just totally cool. And what I wanted to do was use this pattern paper from Simple Stories to document this story. What I thought of the minute I saw this pattern paper, I thought about how cute it would be to have them flip up and show a different photo underneath. And so what I did was print the large photo of the subway car itself. That photo all the way across the layout measures 8¼ inches high by 14. I printed it on 2 different sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. And then I also printed out a couple of photos to go behind the flip-ups that I'm creating from the pattern paper. I also pulled some washi tape here, and the washi tape will be the flip-up. For some reason, my photos didn't quite print the right size, or I didn't measure the right size. I don't know. Who knows? But we're going to just trim it down and keep rolling with it. So this first photo here underneath the witch that you saw just really quickly was me with the items that I found at Spirit Halloween to wear to that movie premiere. And then the other photos are going to be just different details from the subway car itself. And so hopefully you can kind of see, I know this is kind of a busy, kind of very active kind of layout. There's a lot going on in this layout, but I love that because it kind of describes the feeling of going into Spirit Halloween. And so it fits, and it's also just a lot of fun. I'm really loving how this is turning out, and I just love how we just dive right into these albums and get started. When you dive right in and you get started on telling these stories, how fun and cool these stories really are. And just how fun it is to go ahead and start putting them in your album. And so this is the tiny little gentle kick in the pants to say, hey, get some pages made in your albums. So then I also needed a little flip up for my journaling here. So I'm going to use the cutoff part, which is a ledger from that Simple Stories pattern paper, and create a little flip up for it. And then, of course, once I write the journaling, I've got to figure out where I want to put it on the background photo. Because at this point I was feeling like this layout was a little bit busy. But again, I'm embracing it and going with it. So I think I'm going to put that little journaling spot right here on top of that tall clown. The one thing I did not want to obscure was his shoes. I don't know why. I can't get over those little glossy orange shoes on that guy. That was fun. So, at any rate, there was just a ton of cool things to look at on this display. I went ahead and grabbed a number 2 from my stash. I think this number 2 was from Studio Calico. It's just a cardstock printed die cut of a 2 in orange that happens to go really well with the orange from that Simple Stories pattern paper. So I like how that looks up there in the corner, easily recognizable as day 2. And you guys know how much I love numbers. I love adding numbers to these pages. And then I'm just trying to figure out or work out what I want to put with the 2. So I chose this little scallop piece from Simple Stories and this little haunted house. And then I'm thinking about adding one of these little chipboard pieces from Simple Stories. I really liked that orange boo. Repeating that orange from those awesome shoes, but that just didn't really work out. This one didn't really work out either. These are the die cuts from the Simple Stories collection. And so I'm just kind of flipping through those to see what will work on here. A lot of them were just kind of competing. These are the embellishments from the Doodlebug Sweet and Spooky collection. And all of them really great pieces. Just tabs, word art. I like that little speech bubble. More orange there to help it stand out. I'm paying attention to that orange because that is one thing that kind of pops against that busy background. So kind of leaning into that a little bit for this little vignette up here with the 2s, or with the 2, just 1 2. So some cute options in here. This is 2 packs from that Doodlebug collection. It's the journaling bits and the chit chat, I think. So lots of little choices in there. I was debating adding other things to the flip ups. So just looking at options here for word art and different things like that. And kind of just getting familiar with what's in those packs. But in the end, I'm not going to add anything to the flip ups. I think that they're just cool the way they are. But I am going to add this little green speech bubble. And I like that. It repeats the green. And here again, just considering whether I wanted to add anything. I'm not going to add anything. And let me just straighten everything up and put that in the album. And so day 2 is now happily completed and in the album. And then I'll move along to day 3. Of course, I've got to attach it to the back of day 1 here. And I'm liking the flow of this album already with these larger full-size pages outside of the pocket. I'm liking that a lot. It gives you a good bit of real estate. Now, day 3 was the release day of Life of a Showgirl, and we went to see the movie, of course, and so I did a 2-page spread for this as well. So I'm working with the Moonlit digital collection from Traci Reed Designs. I've used this before for these iconic Taylor Swift layouts, and it seems to suit Taylor's color palettes very well, and you can see what I mean. I was delighted, but also just kind of overwhelmed to discover that there were 8 versions of the vinyl that had been released, at least so far. So I rounded up all 8 of them. I think I have all 8 of them, and just printed a little tiny version of them with the record sticking out of the top. I considered making these interactive on some level, but that was just more bandwidth than I really had, to be honest. Plus, they don't show the images that I could find online didn't show the whole album, I don't think. So I did it like this, and I love that it tells the story of how many album versions there were, and the beautiful album art that she did. Just how colorful it is. I absolutely adore the colors that she uses for her brand, and the Moonlit collection is perfect. Like I said, for Taylor Swift layouts. It's not necessarily made for Taylor Swift layouts. Moonlit is really more of a doing things by moonlight, camping, going to concerts, having sing-alongs, doing camping things like roasting s'mores and things like that. That's really what the Moonlit collection is all about. But I truly believe that you can make just about any collection work for what story you're telling, if you play your cards right. And so the bokeh background paper goes across the left side of the page and partway across the right side of the page. And then I did, it's kind of an editorial page, the photo of myself and Alan, and you can see what I did for the movie was I wore face jewels on my face, and I added little purple strands of hair. And I also wore a headband with kind of rays coming out. Technically it's an angel headband or something, but at any rate, so now you can see what I look like for the premiere, and so that was cute to include that as part of the story here. There's a lot to tell on this page, but again, I didn't really want to do anything interactive. I didn't want to do a flip out, because it doesn't have to be that way. And so after adding just a couple of embellishments to this page, the title using the alphabets in the Moonlit collection, and the little treble clef, and then also the butterfly, just really rounding out that color palette there. And then I had these cute little kind of like plastic number 3s, and I think that they were from Ellie's studio from a long time ago, but they match that color palette really beautifully too, I thought. So that's kind of a summary of my layout for day 3. And so, woohoo! Days 1 to 3 here are going into the album and calling those complete, and still loving this project, love participating, and I can't wait for the exciting days that are ahead. Thank you so much for joining me on this fun October journey. I love the month of October and love this album. I love the lighthearted nature of these pages and just the fun that we get to have. And so I'm glad to share it with you. As always, I will see you back here again real soon. Bye-bye.